And we are here. The video is on. So hello everyone. I'm starting this I'm starting to record this series of videos for poker because I want to get better at poker myself. And as far as I started getting better at this last year, so I figured out I would like to share with other people my knowledge, what I have, what I know about the game, and at the same time, it is more for me because I want to be better at the game. So it is more like my personal, let's say, video diary for poker. Yeah, it means that yeah, I'm not the best one. I'm not professional, and I still can make mistakes. But at the same time, I figured out that the best way for me to be disciplined and to keep improving and to keep working on my game is to have these videos. So that's why I'm going to record these videos, and we're going to work with several programs here that I usually use. I want to teach you how to actually use these programs and how to work on your game, because this is something that I couldn't find for a long time anywhere. I didn't like how people just give this material online and stuff, so I decided to do this myself. But mostly, yeah, it is for me. If you don't like it, that's fine. If you don't agree with some things, that's fine as well. You know, different people, different opinions. Mm, if you find it useful, great. I'm more than glad if you like it. So look here, we're going to use these two basic programs. One of them is Power Equilab. I really like this one. It will help you greatly to work with ranges and with equities of these ranges and with your hands. This one has a trial period for 1 month, as far as I remember, so you can download it and you can enjoy using it for 1 month. If you feel like subscribing, you can buy it later. And another program that I use is Poker Tracker. Here you can see that. This one is really useful to check all your hands that you had before, to analyze them. Okay, good. And we're going to use calculator, of course. Calculator is one of our friends because we're going to count cards, to count combinations, to work with that. So open up your calculator, and you will need it later. Okay, good. And we're going to base our videos on this book. This is a book written by Matthew Janda. Well, this one is really great. I love it a lot. It has a lot of poker basics. So we're going to have great support from this book. We're going to check with it. And I'm going to structurize my videos step by step, topic by topic. And today's video is about defending or offending when you are out of position. So we are going to start with UTG. So our position is UTG. UTG is under the gun, or the first one to go, first one to open, I mean. First one to open, yeah, so sometimes it is called EP, right? The first position. And very often you will hear UTG, 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 which means under the gun. So you're the first guy who decides to open in the game. And so you can open up what you have here. I will open up and I will just find where we have action, where we open up the pot. Okay, how to do that? Let's take a look. I suppose not an unopened pot. Wait a second. No, here I fold it, here I fold it. Okay, position, whole cards. Okay, for example, even this one, look at that. Okay, good. So we are here on in this early position. Don't look at King Queen, that at this particular hand, because we're going to work with our whole range. Okay, let's see what happens actually here. Okay, here we have a raise from that guy, so I don't think we're going to investigate this particular hand. Let's go find another one that would help us work with the game. Maybe this one. Did I open up here? I don't think so. Yeah, I usually fold this one here. Okay, let's take a look at this one maybe. Okay, we open up on UTG and then, well, we have a call from this guy. Well, it doesn't matter. We can imagine that, you know, a button calls us here, okay? So I'm going just to purely work with my ranges, and that's why, like, it doesn't even matter that, you know, I have this BB. I'm not going to go that deep in the game. I'm just interested in the flop game, and I just imagine that, for example, this button calls us, okay? The button calls us, let's imagine with the standard range, and we're going to imagine that we play here a perfect game of perfectly balanced poker, and all the players are in equilibrium. So everyone is balanced, everyone knows these basics, and everyone plays accordingly. Why is this important? Because when you know the basics of the game, how to play, after that, with different opponents, you can change your strategy, you can change your ranges, and you can adapt, let's say, to the environment and exploit them. For example, if my opponents are very aggressive, right, and I know for sure that they are going to bet when I check, I want to put more hands, very strong hands, in my check range, right, in my check calling range, in my check raising range. You know, I will have more check raises, for example. If I know that the opponent is very passive, right, I might want to increase my bluffs. Okay, if my opponent is balanced in between, he knows when to bet, when to check, you know, I will be playing in the balanced way as well. Okay, good. So here's our hand that we're going to work with. I will put it temporarily aside, and I will open up my Power Equilab program, and this one MP2 here, it means like kind of UTG, you start here. Okay, good. Now look here. First, what range do we open up with in order to get in the game? You need to know your ranges very well, and we're going to have different series for these only ranges particularly, and working with ranges. It is very important. Okay, so here, let's see. I usually open up 15% on UTG. I think this very balanced way. I like it. I got used to this. I know this range. So as for your range, you know, if you are not that sure how to play and you feel unconfident, you can open up, of course, much less. If you know your range, you feel fine with your game, you know how to fold, you know, this is one of the great skills to know when to fold, I would say. So that's why, like, you can open up as you feel like. Just don't be a maniac, you know. Okay, let's see. So this is my range. Usually I open up in this way. As you can see here, ace 10. I even fold ace 10 on the balanced table, right? And queen 9 suited, I open up just 2 hands out of 4 because I don't feel it is that strong, but sometimes I just need this connector. So I open up some of them. I open up ace 2 suited, 50%. I know a lot of needs, they play in this way. They like open up like this, even like this. It's not quite my style. I know that people are different. I prefer to play in this way more. I really like these suited connectors and suited aces. I like playing them, and but if you see that your opponent is kind of tighter and calls you more often with his tight range instead of 3-betting you, right? Maybe you don't want them to open them. Maybe you want to open them like this, right? So it really depends on your opponents. But the standard play, I usually open up these guys. I really like them. And as you can see, the suited low suited connectors, we open up just one combination out of 4 because usually these cards, they don't strike that often on the flop. More often on the flop, you will be seeing aces, kings, and queens, and jacks. Yeah, they come, just statistically, they come more often on the flop. And with them, you know, like, you will be playing them more often on the flop. Those cards, you will see them more often on the flop. And as for these low connectors, it is really good to be with them in position usually. Why is that? Because these guys are really interested in seeing, all the cards till the river, including the river. These guys, they need their straights, they need their flushes, so they need to see all the cards usually. Okay, good. And you see, we don't open up that much these pocket pairs because they're not that strong. They're not that strong, and they not that often strike on the flop their sets. They don't hit sets that often. That's why, like, we have to open some of them just to have them in our range, but not all of them. Just like, I mean, you can try. I tried to open up like a lot of them, and they never strike. They never strike statistically, very rarely. That's why, like, there is no use just mathematically and statistically to open up them all the time. If you play with a lot of fish on the table, yeah, perfect. You can open up them quite often. Don't open up then these guys right here. Yeah, and then, don't open up like these guys here. Maybe don't open up these guys. So, I mean, like, fish is fish, and with fish, the game might be different, quite different. Okay, but this is not our topic for today, these ranges. That's why, like, okay, this is my range. Your range might be different. I like to play this range. I know my range, so I work with it. Okay, good. Sometimes I open up 5-4 suited as well, one combination. Good. So this is my range. Good. Okay. Now we are going to open up. Okay, 10, king, 3. 10, king, and 3. Great. So this is our flop for today. And after that, when you input the numbers there, now you can work with that. Okay, wait a second. I'll do like that. A little bit smaller. Okay, good. So now we have these cards. You can see them here as well. And now you have to figure out what hands to bet, what hands to check, what hands to check call, what hands to fold, right? Check fold. What hands to maybe check raise, right? And so like here you have king 10-3. If we play perfect poker, the opponent might even sometimes call with ace king offsuit, sometimes with 10-10. Yeah, he might have potentially a set. With a lot of hands he might call. Okay, and that's why, like, you possibly might think, okay, do you want to bet all the hands here, or you want to bet some of the hands and defend with some of the hands? We're going to mostly see, like, what we bet, what we check. We're going to think here, we're going to polarize our range, and we're going to analyze hands in this way in order to understand. So the main thing is in poker, I think, is to understand, not blindly just bet, but to get the game and work on the game. So according to this book that I have here, they say that you have, when you have advantage on the range, you have to bet 60% of your range, of your hands. Look here, we have 174.9, right? 174.9 multiply 0.6, 60%. So around 100 hands that you have to bet, okay? But let's come even from a little bit further away. The best way for you to understand what hands to check, what hands to bet, what hands to, check fold and so on, you need to know your value bets first, okay? This is the basic thing. Now, so every time when I analyze my hand, I just think, okay, what are my value bets? Okay, definitely aces, because we charge kings, right? Kings, okay, this is my super value hand. Ace, king, okay, great. Maybe king, queen, why not, right? Then let's check some other super good value bets. King 10, 10, and 3-3. So as you can see here, the number of our value hands is approximately 38.45. Yeah, so there's almost 38 and a half. 39 hands, 38, 39 hands are our value bets. Okay, great. They charge kings of our opponent. They charge potentially tens of that our opponent might have. They charge all our opponents. Sorry, they charge all our opponents straight draws and so on. So we're going to work with them. Great. They charge jacks that our opponent might have, nines, eights, sevens, pocket pairs, right? Good. Now let's think about these hands. Do we want to bet here all the kings all the time? I don't think so. Maybe if the opponent is quite passive, or if the opponent, yeah, he gonna fold and fold. Maybe it is not that reasonable to bet all our sets of kings. Yeah. So I think as for kings, I'm going to possibly bet maybe 50% of them. Okay, like this. And 50% I will be checking. I will be check calling, maybe check raising. I will think about this. Okay, good. The same I will do with my tens. I don't want to bet tens like 100% of the time. I want to bet tens sometimes. So I will be betting maybe 1.5 combinations of tens because we have 3 combinations in total, as you can see here, right? And I want to bet 1.5 of my hands. And 1.5, again, I will put temporarily in the check call range. I use these yellows for check call. I use these red colors for offense, for betting, value bets, to identify my value bets here. It's really because they are kind of aggressive, so we offend with them. With these we defend. I just like distinguish in this way here. Okay, good. As for threes as well, I think I will put threes into my check raising range, but for now I will put in the check call, okay, so that I would see, okay, this here. Okay, good. So now look here, our value bets, good, we decrease the number of value bets. This is great. At the same time, we have very strong check calls or check raises here. We'll be working with them later. And now look here, 35. Now, in order to continue playing, we need to have some bluffs as well, right? Because this is poker, we need to bluff here. And according to this book that we have here, I can just open up this one of the pages, and here they say the out of position value betting to bluffing ratio. Although position will be more valuable on some flop textures than others, betting between 2 and 2.5 bluffs for every one very strong hand value bet out of position seems reasonable for most flop textures. So, as you can see, for every value bet, very strong value bet that we have here, we are going to have approximately 2.5 bluffs. Okay, good. The only thing is, like, before I count this, I want to decrease a little bit the number of value bets, maybe with these king, queen offsuit. Let me see. Yeah, with this. I will decrease a little bit, maybe by 50%. So I will have some of them into my check calling range. Because why not? I think they are good to stand sometimes to get value from king jack that might bet. They stand against king 10 that might bet. Yeah, they stand against king 9 that might bet. Okay, so I think they are good. And sometimes the opponent might have ace king that dominate us. So we're going to keep balanced here. Okay, good. Okay, now we have 30.5. 30.5, that is the number of our value bets that we have. 30.5. And we multiply by 2. Now, this is the number of our bluffs that we must have, okay, at least. So keep in mind, if the opponent is more passive, maybe I want to increase the number of my bluffs, and maybe I will go for 2.5 bluffs per value hand. If my opponent is more like passive, more aggressive, calls more, bets more, so maybe I want to have a little bit less, fewer bluffs, yeah, in my range. But let's imagine that we just go by this number, okay, 61. And you think, okay, where do I get these 61 bluffs? Okay, so first of all, you think about your straight draws and gut shots. Yeah, so you miss one card for a straight. For my bluffing range, I usually use these pink and purple colors. So we're definitely going to bluff with ace queen. I'll put it right like this. Ace queen. Look, already 18 bluffs, great. Then ace jack for sure. Ace jack. King, oh, queen jack. That's absolutely great here. Queen jack, right? Okay, good. I feel we are getting really good bluffs here. 36. We need more. We need more. Let's think. King, oh, queen 9 suited. Great bluff here. Jack 10, oh, jack 9, sorry. Jack 9 suited. Perfect. What else? Let's see. Let's think about this. Ace 10. Okay, we have 42. We need more. Okay. We need more for sure. I think these queens and jacks, we can bet them. We can check call with them. Bet. Why bet? Because we charge tens. We make weak aces fold. We make weak kings call. And you potentially can catch jack and queen, and you can continue betting here, or you can catch a straight, continue betting here. So I think, yeah, 50% of these queens and jacks I will put into the bluffing range, let's say. I think it seems reasonable, but most of the time I will be calling them because they need to defend versus kings. Let me think. This ace 3 actually is a very good bluff here. I really like bluffing with the third pair here. Why? Because you can catch one more ace, you can catch one more 3 here, you will have a trips. Yeah, you will have trips and you can dominate your opponent significantly. So this is good to bluff here, I think. Especially ace 3 of hearts and ace 3 of spades. Perfect, because they can potentially catch flush as well, right? Flush draw, I mean, on the turn, and you can continue betting or check calling, up to you. Good. So these are good. We still need more. We still need more. Let me think. Okay, tens. I think maybe some of these, maybe king 9, king jack. Not quite, don't want to bluff with them. I think you can add up some of maybe, no, aces. I don't want to add up aces. I would add up, I think, more like 9-8 suited, I suppose. 9-8 suited, I think. Yeah, I think 9-8 suited, especially of hearts, of spades, and of hearts, of spades, and of clubs, except for diamonds, like this. Oh, but we don't have that many of them here. No problem. I would add up as well, I think, my maybe 9s, 8s, 7s for bluff. I can check call with them, can maybe bluff with them. Okay, ace king, ace 10. These ace 10s I really want to call. I think, yeah, these ace 10s actually are really good. Sometimes I can bet with them, sometimes I can call with them, but I don't have that many of them. Okay, then I don't touch them. Okay, let's see. So far we have 90 hands, right? 90 hands out of 175. And as you remember, I told you that we need to bet with approximately 60% of our hands, right? So let's take a look. 175 multiply 0.6, 105. And we currently bet 90. Actually, that's fine, I think. You know, we miss around 10 bluffs here, but still, our bluffs are significant here, a lot of bluffs here. And we are here with value bets, very strong value bets as well. I think we're more or less fine. If you want, you can add up, I think, some of the bluffs with tens, strong tens, like ace 10, maybe sometimes queen 10, jack 10, because you have here a range advantage. You have more ace king, 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 and maybe more sets of tens, right? Because the opponent sometimes might three bet with his sets of tens, and if he doesn't three bet you, it means he has less of his sets of tens. Great, so I think that's why like you can more like bet with these hands as well, add up them as your bluffs if you want. If you don't want, that's fine as well. So I think, yeah, oh, perfect, something like that, yeah, great. Nines, eights, sevens, very, very arguable whether you should bet with these or not. You might sometimes, because you have a range advantage here, I think. So you might want to bet with them, I think, as well sometimes. Yeah, I think this one would be good. Okay, yeah, around 65 bluffs. I think this is a good number, kinda perfect. Okay, if you feel like, you know, uncomfortable about your game, you can maybe check call with them more. Okay, so far we have a very good number here. Great, so this is going to be our attacking range, as you can see. Actually, some of these hands, you see they are already in the check call, like king stands and king queen, right? Great, so we attack with this range. Now let's think, what are we going to call with, right? Because the opponent might be attacking us if we check, right? And here comes this great thing. We start thinking, okay, the second pairs are fantastic to check call with. Second pairs are just great, absolutely. So ace 10 suited, king 10 suited, jack 10 suited. Oh, sorry, queen 10 suited here. Weak kings, right? They're going to call. Very weak kings are going to call. Great. Now, very weak tens we can call. A lot of ace 10 here. Yeah, you can sometimes bluff your ace 10. Sometimes you can just check call here. Okay, great. So 10 9, king 10, jack 10. Okay, great. What else are we going to check call here with? Let's see. Maybe exactly these nines and eights. I put some of them into the taken range, but now I can see that I don't have enough in my check calling range here, right? I think I need to check call a little bit more. So I'm going to think, what am I going to check call with? I think I might check call more with them, put them out of my bluffing range. Yeah, I think why not? They're not that strong. I think they get dominated by kings and tens. No, I still want to bluff them sometimes, guys. Sorry, I will bluff them sometimes. Okay, like this. Okay, and like this. Okay, great. I'm going to bluff with them sometimes for sure. And now I still feel that I need a little bit more of defense. Let's see. If we're going to bet, we had these bluff bet 63 and value bet 30, around 90, right? Around 90. So 175 minus, let's be exact, 100. I really like to be actually precise. 140, wait, 174.9 minus approximately 64 and 30. 64, 30, 94. Okay, good. So 81 hand we're going to check. Okay, now look here. The thing is, we have such a wonderful thing as the minimum defense frequency. I downloaded this little table from the Upswing Poker by Doug Polk. I really like this guy. He's so positive. As you can see, when an opponent attacks you and makes a bet, you need to defend some amount of your hands that you checked, right? So for example, look here, I'm going to check 81 hand here, yeah, 80.9. And if the opponent bets 50% of the pot, you see bet size as percentage of the pot, 50%. For example, we have 6 big blinds in the pot and the opponent bets 3 blinds, right? Now, you have to defend 67% of your hands, okay? So, which means that out of this number, 81, 80.9, right? I'm going to defend 67% of my checks. So I'm going to multiply 0.067. So this is approximately the number that I have to defend, okay? 54 hands. 54 hands. Remember this. And now let's see how many do we check call here. 29. So this is definitely not enough. I need to check call more here. So I'm going to check call sevens. Wait a second. sevens, sixes, fives, maybe fours, right? I think I'm going to check call with them more, and yeah, I think that's gonna be good. Now let's see, 43, and where's my calculator? Did I just shut it? I remember we had 54, right? 54. Okay, 54. And we need 10 more approximately. Now let's think, what can we actually call more here? Okay, maybe I can add up into my check calling range some super heavy value hands that I had here. Maybe even this king 9, or I'm sorry, ace king maybe, of spades or of clubs, right? Maybe ace ace. I might want to get these hands. I think aces are more vulnerable here, so maybe some ace kings that I want to check call here, or maybe check raise potentially, right? I think so. Yeah, we need them. Okay, I will decrease these value hands a little bit. Okay, and I will put some of them into my check calling range. Okay, great. So now we kind of balanced our value bets. Now we have even less amount of value hands, yeah, that we bet. We have a significant amount of bluffs that we have approximately 2.5 per value bet. Great, just as it is. And we have great amount of our check calls approximately. You remember the number was 54, but we have here now 49. It is like that approximately. Yeah, I know I said I like to be exact, but here like you cannot be like super precise. You cannot be like super perfect here. So I think this is all right here. And let's see, two, so I would like to fold. Yeah, the rest we are going just to fold. What can they do? You know, potentially you can put in your bluffs these guys. Ace 2 suited and ace 4 suited. And maybe ace 5 suited actually. Yeah, I think you can put them in your bluffing range. Let me see. Like this. Okay. Okay, guys, sorry, I had a little pause here. Delivery service came. Yeah, so we're going to bet. Oh, sorry, we're going to call with some of these. Okay, good. We balanced our value bets. We balanced our bluff bets. We have a significant call here, right? Very huge amount of hands that we call and defend here. Great. I think great. So one more time. If you see that your opponent is more passive, you just want them to attack your opponent with all your hands. Ace, kings, yeah, aces, have some more bluffs here. And if your opponent is more aggressive, you might want to, check call more and balance your range. As for ace 5, ace 4, ace 2, I think they are great to bluff here because first, you make your opponent fold all the trash that he might have in his hands. At the same time, you might catch great upcoming turn card. Let me see. You can catch potentially flush, right? Draw flush, I mean. So you have, because you have runner flush with these hands. You might catch potentially straight draw, yeah, gut shot. So they are really good. I think so, yeah. So we're going to have them as well, and we're going to cover the board with these guys. Okay, good. So we're going to have approximately this range, and you can see now, you need to work on this. You need to balance your hands. You need to think about this. I think here we have very nice, we are a little bit heavy with our bluff bets, but that's fine. As far as we have this range advantage here, I think we're more than good. Let's just calculate, by the way. I have here 24.5 value hands multiplied, if we multiply by 2.5, 61. Well, we a little bit exceeded this. I mean, like, but that's fine. As far as we have the range advantage here on this board, you can see even in solvers, on some boards, you will be even betting 100% of your range. That's how strong your range will be. Good. We have some very significant check calls as well. So as you can see, we have very strong check calls like kings, tens, right? And we have a very strong Yeah, check call second pair, right? Ace 10, Queen 10, Jack 10. I think actually, you know, that's exactly where you can decrease your amount of bluffs, right? And increase more your check calls. And you will feel even better with this. You see Jack 10, Queen 10, Ace 10, great. They are great to check call. If you want more check calls, King Jack, great. You see, you have some weak kings. Yeah, you have some really nice tens here. Great, I think. I don't want this 9-8. Let's throw it away. It's gonna be dominated by higher straights. Okay, great. Now look here. I feel like bluffs 64.5, value bets 24.5, check calls 55.5. Nice. I think this is the number. This is the number. Perfect. Okay, and one more thing that we have to do here is you cannot just always check call, right? You need to have some check raise. You need to have some check raises in your range, and that's why we're going to build up a check raising range as well. So in this book, that I highly recommend you to at least to check online, maybe to work with. You know, I cannot read online, so I prefer really to have it by my hand. Here at the end of the book, they have a lot of sample hands, you know, where they tell how to work with all this. And so here Matthew John just says that when you check, your check raising range should be approximately the same for one every very strong value check raise. You should have 2 bluffs approximately. Good. Now let's see what we are going to check raise here. I want to check raise. I think I will use this color, okay, for my check raising range, blue, because this is distinguishable. We can see very well. So my threes. These tens that I had, right? I will put them out of my check calling range. Wait a second, undo. I'll put them out of my check calling range, and I will put them in my check raising range. Tens, very good. Kings, we can do the same with kings because we're still afraid of some straight draws that the opponent might have, and we want sometimes to, so that's why we want to check raise. Opponents who are not that good, they might even bet their second pair, their tens, and we might check raise. They might call even with their tens, and if there's gonna be one more 10, so they will just get trapped into our full house with their tens, with their trips of tens. So that's why, like, why not? Sometimes I will be check calling these kings. Sometimes I will be check raising these kings. I just feel like we need to decrease the amount of king check calls. Maybe 25% of kings I'm going to check call. 25% of the kings I'm going to check raise. Yeah, why not? Maybe like this, right? Good. Now we have approximately 2.7 hands that are going to be our very strong check raise. You can as well add up to your check raise some of these guys. Ace king of spades, ace king of clubs. They might work very well as check raises because you charge weak kings and you potentially can get a flush draw. So they're really strong and really good to check raise as well sometimes. So I'm just telling you, sometimes I'm gonna call with them, sometimes I'm gonna check raise with them. So if I add them up to my check raising range, I will have around 3.5. And the same, like, we will have to have around 6 bluffs for these guys. Now, let's think about this. What can we check raise here with? Bluffs, potential bluffs that we might want to have. This is a very interesting question here, by the way. Very interesting question, by the way. Some of these guys. What do we want to check raise here for bluff? Maybe we want to check raise for bluff some of our draw straights. Some of them maybe. Okay, maybe like this. Wait a second. Maybe like this. Some of our straight draws. What else can we check raise here? Bluff check raise. I think some of these are really good to bluff check raise. Maybe ace 3. I think ace 3 of spades, ace 3 of hearts. They might be good to check raise here. I think so. I think some of these guys overall, like ace 4, ace 3, ace 5, I might want to bluff check raise them, especially without clubs. These guys, I think, without clubs, like these. Yeah, I think so. I think I will work in this way. What is it now at this moment? Okay, so approximately 3 value check raises and approximately 6 bluff check raises. Yeah, I think this is great. So you just combine here. Sometimes you bet, sometimes you check raise with these guys. So if you miss your turn, yeah, with these guys like ace 5, I mean like with your flush draws, with your straight draws, yeah, gut shots, you might still continue betting with king jack, right? And you might continue betting with 10s and king kings. I think you will be balanced. Great. So yeah, you see, in case you miss your turn card and you cannot push with these guys, I mean miss for these guys, right? So without them on the turn, you will be still very balanced. You'll have approximately 2.5 value bets versus 2.5 bluff bets. I think you are super balanced. Great. Yeah, so that's approximately how I work with these ranges. I think this is really important. You know, you just practice, and you really get better at this. You know, then when you are in the game, you just understand the game much better. But remember, always adapt to your opponent, you know, because opponents are different. So, you know, if you just play this perfect poker with everyone, it means you're not going to exploit your opponents, you know, and you're going to lose profits. So always think like how you can adapt to your opponents. You know, if they're more aggressive, you might want to check raise more with super strong hands, right? You might want to defend more because, like, especially versus some fish, you know, or some fish maniacs, they might bet into you all 3 streets till river with like jamming all in. And versus them, I can just like check call with my sets till the very end, you know, because they're just crazy. So think about this. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is how I work with my ranges, and I wish you good game and have fun. Bye bye. And I stop here. Goodbye, guys.